We need to completely change our idea of animals. Completely. And when you're as sensitive as I am, you can sit there with a herd of horses and you feel the gift that they're giving you, which is more precious than anything. It's a soul gift.
Welcome, loving viewers, to Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants, featuring professional telepathic animal communicator Billie Dean, who for over 30 years has communicated with thousands of animal clients from around the world. Ms. Dean, a filmmaker and actress, is also the author of several books, including Secret Animal Business, which is about the vital roles animals play on our planet. One of her documentaries, Finding Joy, which she wrote, directed and starred in, won the Australian Film and Television Industry, or AFTI, Best Actress Award. A strong supporter of animal rights, she and her husband operate Ballyoncree Animal Sanctuary, the home of 7 vegan dogs and many other rescued animals. Today, in the first of our 2-part presentation, Ms. Dean shares with us how she first found out that she could communicate with animals.
When I was growing up, I was very, very sensitive, and I couldn't understand why other children would hit trees and shrubs, and I could feel all this pain. And that is telepathy. You can feel it in your body. And I could hear them, you know, the pain that they would feel. And I'd be going, why? Why do people do that? Why can't you feel it? And I couldn't understand why they couldn't feel as I could. And it would be the same with the cats and the dogs and the horses. I could feel the pain in the horse's mouth with people pulling on the reins. There'd be words too, and it'd all just be sort of flowing and become sort of an intuitive whole. And it wasn't only animals, it was trees and it was stones.
And so has this been a big blessing for you?
It has been a blessing, but it's also a bit of a curse, because there's a lot of pain out there and you feel it. I live outside a country town. I can't see the trucks go past without crying because I feel all the distress of the stock, the sheep and the cows, and even horses going off to the abattoirs. It's constant pain in our society at the moment. It makes me want to be an agent of change. And I think that if you can hear and you can sense the world of animals with their silent language, if you can understand it and you know that they're sentient beings with a psychic and spiritual life, then you do want to walk a more compassionate path, and you want to see the way that we're interacting with animals to be better. And quite frankly, that's what the animals want too. You know, they're kind of over us, treating them like, as they call it, slaves.
According to her insights, gained through telepathic communication, Billie Dean has discovered that cows and bulls play an essential, magnificent role on our planet.
I'm writing a new book called The Deep Peace Project, because a lot of people talk about peace, and we haven't got peace. The Deep Peace Project is the story of how I wanted to go more deeply into my own peace for the planet, because we have to be peace to create peace. And then in the book too is understanding that we have to have peace for all species in order for there to be peace, not just humans. It's about being peaceful inside and really coming to that place of trust, surrender, love and joy and compassion and true acceptance of where everything's at, which is why, you know, the beautiful trees and the animals don't go into how bad things are, again, because they're more at peace, their souls are at peace. So this was a bull, and he lives in WA, and he's a gorgeous bull. And so this is Bullwinkle, very wise. He said, why does an animal have to be of use? Why does an animal have to be a slave? Why does an animal have to be of service and sacrifice to humans? He wanted to change the entire paradigm. he says it's really distasteful to know that one is going to be eaten. He said he has come in with a higher consciousness and he recognises his person as a soul partner with higher consciousness as well. He said this meeting of souls was predetermined. He then showed me his strength and his connection to Mother Earth, and he said he and his kind can be a healer for mankind. We can be seen as emissaries of love and the deep feminine of the earth in a strong male body. These are bulls. He says it's time for respect for the animal kingdom if humanity is to walk forward and that life as we know it is about to change. But we have to make the change. He said the symbol of the bull is one of strength and majesty, which he embodies. But the connection they have to the mother is deep and tranquil. And it is this tranquility that they can offer humans. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. So there you go. Bull healing. Cow healing. And it's just beautiful. They're in sync with Mother Earth, but they have to wait for us. And this is why, I'll call them shamanic teachers. They keep pushing us. Push, come on guys, get it. And the sad thing that I find is that so many people are unaware of their beauty and their majesty and their magnificence that they miss the wonderful wisdom and teachings. So on one level, yes, we have to change our eating habits. We have to stop. We have to start treating them as equal species, that share the planet with us. We have to come into much more right relations with the animals of the world. And the animals in our home, our companions, they're not toys, they're not pets.
Billie Dean believes it's essential to respect the lives of all animals on Earth, even the smallest insects.
Before I mow the lawn or do anything in my garden at home, I try and send out messages to any lizards or insects, warning them that I am going to be in the environment and changing it. Is that a good thing to do?
I think that it's important to warn them, particularly the grass that you're mowing as well, and ask them to withdraw their energy so that the energy goes right down into the ground and so that they're safe. And yes, asking all the animals and beings and insects, all of life, to get out of the way so that they're not harmed. And then just letting go and asking Spirit to step in. There's so many angels and beautiful spirit beings and guides around. I think that it's really important to be conscious of all the smaller forms of life. But it's important because each life is important, and it's important for their soul journey, and it's important for ours. So it's really important that we act compassionately.
Did you have any messages that you've had from the animals or the plant kingdom that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, so many. So many. I'd like to read this little bit from Louis the dog. This is in my book, Secret Animal Business. And it sort of fitted in with what we were talking about. Louis showed me himself as a wise man, a teacher or a sage, and he'd been a father once to this person. When I asked him what he had to teach her in this life, he said that love is all, truly. Love is everything. Humans often really don't know what it is to love unconditionally. In this way, they are our children and need to be guided. This is why we often come in a cute and cuddly form to show them the way. So I asked Louis for a message for his person Susan, some guidance that she could use. Tell her that wearing dresses doesn't make a woman. A woman is female, the divine feminine. This is lost from the earth right now and needs to return. What is divine feminine? It is love, heart consciousness, intuition, intuitive guidance, listening, respect, honouring. On earth there is a lack of balance, and the scales need to be tipped in the balance of divine feminine. In a world of compassion, there is no suffering. he said that hate and anger were not the key. Love was. So, there you go, from the dog's mouth. They're wonderful. So I think that, the big message is love and compassion and forgiveness, and to start dreaming in a beautiful world of peace by becoming peace, and that means peace for all species, not just us. And it feels to me that all the animals, all the plants, all of nature is waiting for us to grow up and get it. They don't go into the horror of what's happening. I'm sure they could if they wanted to, but they're really trying to be patient and to help us wake up.
Because I know you're vegan, do you think that being vegan is ultimately a big, big way in which to respect animals and in which to create a more peaceful world?
Absolutely. And I can tell you from the horse's mouth and the cow's mouth and the sheep's mouth and the chook's mouth that they don't want to be eaten. And I am seeing a lot of change. We've just had International Vegetarian Week, and I think that the more people start to realise that they don't need meat, then we can really start to see some change. And yes, it's the way of the future. Quite frankly, I think vegan raw food is the way of the future. And then after vegan raw food, we'll be able to be breatharians or something. I think it'll be wonderful.
I've found that people need to awaken something within themselves, a sense of compassion. Does eating meat somehow hamper this?
I do feel that people who have stopped eating meat do seem to be more spiritually aligned with the world of nature and animals. Well, there's a lot of new people who are coming, a lot of young ones, who can't eat meat, or they're in a home where they're forced to and they're struggling against it. And I know my daughter, she's never eaten meat, and she refuses, which is good in our household. And a lot of her friends came into that awareness themselves. Oh, we want to be vegetarian. So it's wonderful, So it's not to say that if you eat meat you can't connect, but I think that there is a different quality to people once they drop that out of their diet.
And can the animals themselves sense if we eat meat or not? And does this affect how they interact with us?
I believe they can, yes. They can smell it. I mean, I can tell now. I can walk through a crowd and know who's eating meat. They just feel more dense. And it's interesting. And they feel more congested in a way. And yes, they can smell it, they know. The horses have always said to me, we don't want to end up in a can, we don't want to be dog food. They don't want to be killed and they don't want to be eaten. One of my wild horses said, wow, I don't want to be dog food. That was the first thing he said to me. He was in the wild then and he was terrified. And I made a promise to him that he would never become dog food. And I said, my dogs don't eat meat anyway. So if a wild horse can have that thought, and he's never come across people really, then how are horse-human relationships going to be if these beautiful animals know that at the end of the day they're going to be eaten? So with the earth now as it is, how does our treatment of animals affect the energy? When we treat them in a bad way, how does that affect basically the world around us? When we speak and we think, we create a thought form. That thought form goes out into the world. When animals are crying out in pain, they're being slaughtered, they're being killed, they're frightened, that goes into this whole mix of human pain and sorrow and suffering as well. And what we've done is we've created almost a wall of, heavy negative thought forms around us. And what that does is it makes us feel on a psychic level and much more depressed and anxious, and we don't even know why. But we're picking up on all the pain and all the suffering. So, yes, it's not a really good idea to have anybody suffering.
On your website, I noticed that you have similarly said, animals are not for us to own. We are their guardians. They are our teachers. This is the soul pact we made on the other side of the veil. Can you please speak more about this?
Yes, the animals, their souls can come from anywhere. I mean, I know this is a point of contention, but with my experience, I have found that souls actually come from anywhere. They can even have been humans. And a lot of cats, for example, are coming back, and they've been Egyptian teachers, not at cats, but they were actually learned masters. I know in the Celtic tradition, they would say you cannot eat hares because there could be the soul of someone you know. And it's the same in other indigenous traditions. And we do travel in soul families. So it's all sort of to do with karma and soul family, and they'll often come in as a guide and a teacher to be with us and help us. So yes, we do have a soul pact, and part of that pact is that they have come in to try and push our buttons, to try and help us grow, to try and open our heart chakra. And, they'll make great sacrifices in that way, but at the same time they've got their soul path and their soul journey, and they're looking to us for our compassion and our care of them.
Yeah, I understand that you can also communicate with plants and trees. So I'm wondering if they have any messages for humankind about how we've been treating our environment.
I speak to trees all the time. One of them said to me, what you need to be doing is viewing every single person as love and as loving you. So if we think that everybody is love and everybody loves us, imagine what sort of society we would have if there was only love. And that came from a tree spirit.
And what can people do to inspire an awareness within themselves?
So the animals have got a lot to say about that. Over lots and lots of clients, they've given me a really nice framework. And one of them is get rid of the clutter in your house. So declutter. Make the house a sanctuary. Make it beautiful. Make it spacious and light-filled. They're also really, really sensitive to the thought forms and etheric imprints that we leave in the house. Turn off the news. Turn off all the murder shows that are sending out nasty thoughts that make us tense when we're watching them, because the animals in our home are picking that up. So what they're saying is clean the home, do a psychic cleansing, do a feng shui cleansing, do a space clearing, get rid of all that junk. Then they say, keep it nice and bright, lots of light. So many animals just recently have said we like light-filled spaces. So they want it light. They also want at least one room in something like lemon yellow. That came up a lot. Lemon yellow or something bright, so that it's clean and fresh, and what all this does is raise our vibration. So that's the home. Then they want the humans to do things like self-express, take time to nurture themselves, nourish themselves. What is it that makes you happy? So we really need to be finding what is our heart saying? What does our heart want? And then they really want us to go outside, take off our shoes, connect with Mother Earth and dance. And what this does is that it starts to build our frequency. It gets things moving, it frees up all the chakras and gets our mood up. You can't be depressed if you're dancing, And, you know, I've had animals say, you know, to their people, go out and belly dance, and then chuckled, you know. And a lot of them just want their, particularly, go sit on the earth, go sit in the sun. If they're cats, they'll say, curl up in the sun on the earth. And this is a very shamanic thing as well, because, for example, the old Celtic bards the travelling ones would be barefoot, but the earth would be giving them so much information that's how they would get their inspired poetry, their inspired songs, because they knew the earth so intimately, and the earth would be speaking to them. And so this is the sort of thing that we have to get back to. And this is what the animals are all telling their people to do. And you know, I've had lots lately saying you've got to be peace, you've got to do meditation and yoga, and you've got to, you know, just get some sunlight and sit. And again, in the old teachings, we got energy from absorbing the earth and the sun. And this gives you life force. So there's all these things that we can be doing. And communing and listening. Learning to listen to the stones, to the plants, to the tree spirits, to the animals, to the wind, to the rivers. Everything speaks. Everything is alive. And this is what we have to come back into a beautiful consciousness of and awareness of. And then we will have the beautiful world that we want.
We're grateful, Billie Dean, for your sharing the many touching messages you've received from our animal friends. Through your sensitive, thoughtful efforts, you are helping us understand the deep inner wisdom of animals and appreciate, honour and value their presence here on Earth. For more details on Billie Dean, please visit www.billiedean.com. Books, CDs and DVDs by Ms. Dean are available at the same website. Thank you for your gentle presence today on Animal World, our co-inhabitant.